the times when I've charged less and had to offer more guarantees, they expect a
Yeah.
lot more. When I
Sure.
charge more, it's like, just go do your thing.
All right, welcome. It's Joe Marcoux, and welcome to the Cup of Joe Marcoux podcast show. I get an opportunity to have somebody with me who I've had the pleasure to have known for more than 2 decades. If we really go all the way back in terms of how long we've known each other, this is someone who has been a leader in sales, a leader in the leadership space, a leader in areas of sales that some people would call taboo. When you hear network marketing or multi-level marketing, people go, no way, I don't want to touch that. And someone who I respect greatly. So Adam Packard, welcome to the Cup of Joe Marcoux.
Awesome. Glad to be
Good to
here.
see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Dude, so tell me about this background. First of all, I'm seeing Happy Gilmore.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is
I've got
like,
I got 5 things. I got 2 Masters flags. I started my career as a golf pro. I think you knew that. So
I did not
so I
know
got
that.
Happy Gilmore, Caddyshack, and then the Phoenix Rising you see. So that was a piece of art that Tom Hopkins, who I used to work with, would give out at his boot camps to people that awards won stuff. So I kind of stole that from the inventory closet.
Very cool,
from Tom.
man.
Yeah, but
how so have what? Let's dive into this, because if you told me that you started off in golf, I then unfortunately there's getting a lot of stuff into the brain here, and it's, as Paul McCartney just recently said, the memory bank might also be almost full, so I gotta start taking stuff out. What's the correlation for you when you look at golf as a game or a sport, which I would call it more sport than game? A lot of people would disagree with me on that. I don't care. It's a sport. There's skills involved. Talk to me about how you look at golf, the sport, and how it correlates to sales. What are the similarities that you see in that?
No one's ever asked me that. That's an interesting question. Golf to sales. Well, I mean, when I was a golf pro, and I got out of the business after like 4 years, and people were like, "Man, why'd you do that? It sounds like such a cool career." I'm like, "Well, you work long hours, you don't make any money, and you never play any golf. So if that's what you're looking for," but it was a cool
as
experience.
A golf pro.
As a golf pro, right? So you're the one checking people in and giving lessons, and I mean, everything at the golf course. So the last place you want to be when you're done working is at the golf course, right?
Right.
So, but I would say
the game of golf, or the sport. When you correlate the sport of how to get good at golf and how to get good at sales, and then how when you're playing the game of golf and you're playing the game of sales, or if you want to playing the sport of golf, and sales is a full contact sport, bro. So
with anything, I think they're both skills, right? And you have to be coachable. You can't just watch a video and not practice. So I can't tell you how many times, like one year I gave like 2,000 golf lessons in 1 year. It was like 10 to 15 a day for a year. Right. So
how were you feeling at the end of that?
Oh, I was burned out. I was done.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it anymore. But it was funny because people would buy these packages of lessons, and I'd give them a lesson. And I remember giving my very first lesson, and what they were paying was like $150, not to me, but to the company
right
I worked for. And I had no idea what I was doing. So it was almost like, but I was the expert. So it was almost like fake it till you make it. Right. So I'm like,
okay,
I can't believe they're actually paying me. Like, I'm just making stuff up at this. I don't even know. Like I'm good at golf, so I can just kind of maybe try this or try that. But in the beginning, it's just practice and get better and get more confident. But the challenge is, I would give someone a lesson and say, okay, go work on this, come back, we'll take the next step. And they'd come back a week later. I said, did you work on it? No, they took a few swings. I'm like, did you work on what we talked about last week? No, I didn't have a chance to. I was like, well, we're going to go back and do that part again. Right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of correlation between whether it's sales or golf or anything. Learning a new skill, practicing it, learning from someone that's better than you. Right? I think that's a big part of it. And just that repetition over and over again. But you can't,
that's awesome.
It's like the Sandler, sales. You can't, learn to ride a bike at a seminar, right? You have to get on the bike and ride and, fail and get better and improve. And I think the same is true in sales. Too many people don't practice their skills. They don't, number one, they're not having enough conversations, right? They're few and far between. So they put so much pressure on the few conversations that they have, and you can sense that desperation or lack when you're having
Right.
calls. And that's one thing that I've always kind of taught to, our clients is, listen, I'm not any better at you than this. I just do more, right? Like Jim Rohn says, you make up in numbers what you lack in skill, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so like when I have a new conversation with someone, there's no pressure, right?
That
I
is
don't force
such
my
gold,
agenda.
man. Jim Rohn,
Like,
you can do up in numbers what you lack in skill. Oh
yeah.
my God. You just dropped. Okay. And thanks for being on the podcast. Like it's over. Like that's just it. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Most people, they look at their calendar and they're waiting for the phone to ring for referrals and more market
Right.
opportunities. And I'm like, I
How
have,
about
if
reaching
I'm
out?
having I have 7 other calls today. So I'm not like, I can do what's best for you. And you let me know if it's a good fit versus me trying to push my agenda on someone and get them as a client. Like people can sense that when
Yeah.
you're on a call, the more calls you have, even if you're not good, the more conversations you have, the less pressure it is to try to get people, and you just have that quiet confidence about you.
This is something that just recently is funny that, and I love the background because there's you got a lot going on. If you're listening to this, Adam's got a poster of Happy Gilmore, the Phoenix Rising. So there's seriousness to it, and then there's obviously some fun to it. And when you go back to the business of things, just any type of business, including what you were just talking about, being a golf pro or doing sales. I mean, would you ever do business with anybody that you don't have fun with at least at some level?
I think we all have, right? We get
And
to
then
that
what's
point
the
where we
feeling on
have,
that for you?
oh, yeah, it's like, why did I do this? Like,
Regret.
sometimes when you have those stretches where you don't have a lot of new clients coming on board, and so you
Mm,
try to force it a little bit, right, just to
yeah.
just to get somebody in, and it never works out. Like I had a guy that came on board. I created everything for him with our process, and he comes back to me. He's like, I thought we were going to be doing Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I was like, dude, for what I charged you, like we never, number one, everything that we shared in the beginning, our process is all LinkedIn. That's all we do.
Yeah.
Even in the agreement that you signed, it was like this. We didn't say anything about other platforms, and I'm having this like, what do I say to this guy to be like, well, if you want someone to do like a full service marketing across all social, you're gonna be paying a couple grand a month minimum, right? It's
Yeah.
like that's a lot
Yeah.
of work. So and you have these situations where sometimes you force it and then you step back, you're like, you offer this, money back guarantee if it doesn't work, and then he doesn't do his part, and then he asks for a refund. Like there's these situations where when you force it, it never works out.
It's not worth
So
it.
it's not worth it in the end, and yeah, but you learn as you go, right? You have to make those
Sure.
mistakes. Yeah,
And there's times where what you mentioned social media, you mentioned LinkedIn. We're going to talk about that in a quick sec. And I want to get into Tom Hopkins. There's a lot that's we're having this cup of Joe, and there's like already all this deluge is trying to fill up the cup. The thing about social media is that we get caught up in what we see, and myself included, I'll often post how well things are going, or how this person did, or how this client did, and how well they're doing. And that's not how life always is. We see, like there's some people that I get vanity metrics head where I see somebody with 1 million followers and I look at their content and I cringe. And yet they got people following them, whether it could be because she's well endowed, and she happens to be a sales coach, and yet the content isn't about anything other than the fact that it's like, well, you're wearing a bikini on every one of your posts. So like, your 1 million followers, is it because you're providing content that is going to be helpful, or is it legitimately, is it eye candy? And again, I probably have people right now getting angry with me well, that's my opinion. And
yeah,
so
yeah,
for in the LinkedIn space, this is great. It's for me, it's actually where my best following is. That even though I post more often on Instagram, my biggest metric as far as followers are concerned is on LinkedIn. That's where
yeah,
your level of expertise is. Tell
yeah.
me a little bit. So for people who've never, heard of Adam Packard and what it is that you do and your level of expertise, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do and who you're serving.
Yeah, and I fell into this whole space of LinkedIn, right? It wasn't like I'm like, I'm going to do LinkedIn work. It's like, no.
Sure.
Um, I had a friend of mine reach out about 8 years ago. I just, came off one opportunity and was looking for something new. And he reached out of the blue and said, "Hey, I have this new startup. Can you help me find some leads?" I was like, "I have nothing else going on.
Everybody
So let
wants
me
more
try to figure
leads.
it out."
Yeah.
And so I did some research. He was trying to sell like online advertising, and I had no idea where to start. So I literally Googled how to sell advertising.
Yeah.
Who's the target audience? And it, gave me the answers. I was like, "Oh, well, where can I find these people?" And I was like, "Let me try LinkedIn." So I logged into LinkedIn for the first time in probably 10 years. I'd never used it.
Mm.
And trial and error, what works, what doesn't. And so we started to get him some results and some clients, and I started to do it for other people. And 8 years later, I would say 90-95% of our clients are coaches, consultants, trainers, speakers. Even though I know it's a super saturated market in terms of competition, I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what, we're going to rise above, and we're going to be different. So we have, a lot of different things. I would say our main goal is come up with a LinkedIn strategy that's going to, number one, drive new conversations to you, but do it in a way that focuses on adding value, building relationships, and not trying to pitch, too quickly in a message.
Yeah.
Get your foot in the door. All you have to do is get the opportunity to get your foot in the door. And there's three pieces to the LinkedIn puzzle. Profile, pretty, self-explanatory, needs to be optimized so it's clear what you do.
But a lot of
And
people
even
don't
if
know
you,
how to do it. That's why they hire you.
it's true.
You're
And
rolling your eyes, so it tells the story. I remember
it's,
you giving me the audit way back when, and it was like, whoop.
yeah.
If
And update it
anything,
regularly. It's like, your
well,
business changes, right? Make changes
this
to your
is a
profile.
great point. Great point. And like, if somebody wanted to get you to audit just their profile to help them out, I mean, that's a paid for service, or is it some?
I would look at the profile, and in 30 seconds I can say, you need this, you need that, you need to update this. I mean, most people don't have a clear direction. Most of them are marketing, to everybody, right? And so
Right.
it needs to act like a sales page. It needs to look like a
Yeah.
landing page. And
Yeah.
when someone Googles your name, yeah, your website's going to come up, but one of the first things that comes up in every search is going to be your LinkedIn profile.
For
If they click
sure.
on it and they see no profile picture, or it just says realtor or coach, right, as a headline, and
Yeah.
they don't have anything
What
built
kind of
out,
coach? Yeah.
yeah, and that's just a simple. It's a 30-minute fix. It's not like it's a lot of work. Like, you could
Right.
literally say, go to ChatGPT and say, here's my business, here's my target audience, here's my website. Build an about section for me. Build a few different headlines, and it will literally spit out, a
So
pretty solid about section.
so here we are using LinkedIn. You're helping people out with their profile. You're helping people gain leads, right? That's legitimately what you're helping people. And are you doing outreach?
Yeah, so profile, content, and outreach are kind of the three drivers of
Yeah.
LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Profile, just you have to set the foundation first, right? You're not going to build a house on a weak
Yeah.
foundation. So get that squared away first. Content, it's not a short-term lead driver, right? You got to build up a following. You have to be consistent with it. And we post content, but I can count on one hand how many times someone's reached out. I write something, and someone reaches out and says, "Tell me more about your work."
Right.
It's almost like if you've been to a seminar, which I know you have, you know, posting content's like you're the guy in the back of the room selling the books and the tapes. You're
Right.
hoping someone comes up and buys something.
Yeah.
Whereas the outreach is what we're really good at, is let's define who your ideal client is, and then let's figure out what's the best strategy to get your foot in the door. Because when it comes to outreach on LinkedIn, people are getting messages all day long.
Oh my
So it has
God.
to be
Yeah.
crafted the right way. It has to be a permission-based approach. It can't be a pitch right after connecting. And especially the higher up you go, if you're targeting, C-level executives and founders and owners, the higher up you go in an organization, the less direct you can be, right?
Yeah.
So you have to model the approach and the strategy based on who you're trying to get in front of. And then it's really about what
I
makes you
love that.
different, unique, special, right? It's like, why you? Because,
Yeah.
there are a lot of sales coaches out there. There's a lot of leadership coaches out there. There's a lot of, career coaches, executive coaches, business coaches. So, I always ask, one of the questions in our onboarding is, what's your unique selling proposition, right? What makes you different? Why should people listen to you? And I hear
Yeah.
a lot of the same answers over and over again. I'm like, I say, read that back to me. Does this make you sound different than the other leadership coaches that are out there? And they read it
I
back
love
like, no, not
this.
really. I was like, go back to the drawing board. Let's come up with something. Um, and
And
then it's
obviously,
about
there's
just the
got to be some
consistency.
testing involved, right? Like, you got to do some things where it's like, hey, give this a try. If it doesn't work, then do you do A/B testing, or do you just go A test and we go for it for a few days, or just
Yeah.
out of curiosity, how do
So
you make this
yeah.
work?
So with our, we have, do it yourself programs.
Yep.
We have done with you, and then we have done for you, right? So with the done for you,
Okay.
we're basically creating it all for you. So we're
And
pretty
you
good
got
at
to pay a
figuring out
premium for it.
what's sure, but you're going to get better results because
Sure.
yeah, we might have two or three different ideas in terms of what approach is going to work best. But I'm pretty good at figuring out this approach is the one we should start with, and then we run it for a couple of weeks, and then if we need to make pivots, then we make pivots. But
Yeah.
yeah, you have to put a little bit of time and thought into the creative part of this in order to make it work, and you have to be okay getting no's. I mean, that's
Oh
the nature
yeah.
of any
That's
type of
the
outreach
nature of
is
any, for sure.
yeah.
For
So,
sure.
but yeah, the approach, everybody I talk to when I have them fill out the onboarding form that we have, it's so funny. The very last question is, what do you want your call to action to be? Right? What are we asking people to do? And 99% of the time, they have one call to action. I'm guessing you probably know what that call to action is. It's
Book
book
a
a call,
call.
have a strategy session, have a discovery session. Listen,
Yeah.
they don't know you from Adam, right? You're a complete
Right.
stranger and you're reaching out saying, I can help you with XYZ. Click here to book a 45-minute strategy call. That's like me reaching out to you on LinkedIn. You don't know me. And I'm like, hey, Joe, I can fill your calendar with 10 appointments a day.
I
Let me
get that
know
all the
if you're,
time.
it's like you sound like
Yeah.
everybody else. So, in an effort not to do that, take some time and figure out, okay, how do I get my foot in the door? You're not going to walk up to someone at a networking event, locally and just throw up all over them for 2 minutes, right? It's going to be a back
Right.
and forth conversation. And so, yeah, I challenge people to come up with different ideas, and we've got 12 other strategies in terms of how can you get your foot in the door. Podcast is a great one. Like I have some high level coaches that charge tens of thousands of dollars, and their audience is Fortune 500 CEOs and founders, right? You got to make that person talk about themselves. So
Yep.
if you're a CEO of a large company, and I reach out to you to try to start a relationship, start a conversation, it can't be about me, right? But I could say, hey, Joe, love the work that you're doing at XYZ. I host a podcast, on XYZ. I would love to potentially interview you and have you as a guest. Let me know if you'd be up for it, right?
Yeah.
Add value first, get them on your podcast, natural
Create a
conversation
bit of
is going to
notoriety
happen.
for them. Yep.
A little
Yep.
reciprocal, right? A little reciprocity. Now it's like he's going to be like, what do you do? Oh, I do this, blah, blah, blah. So
Right.
it's not necessarily you're going to, you find short-term opportunities, but you also want to approach people in a way where you don't close the door on a future conversation because you approach them
Right.
poorly. Like
And this is what
I can't
this.
ask you to marry me on the first date, and then you say no, and then you're
Good
like, well,
luck.
let's go for coffee, and you're like, no, you're a
Yeah.
creep. That's weird, right? So you
Yeah.
lost it.
Even going out for coffee is a little bit of a stretch. It's like booking the call,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
you go what I've come up with here, and hopefully everybody that's watching and listening to this is picking up on this, is like the thing to go in with a giving hand. And even when you're willing to give something away for free, don't expect, anticipate that if there's a no, that's okay. All they're doing is they're saying, no, I'm not interested. Because the goal of sales really is sort before you sell. So the first step is the sorting process. If somebody, for whatever the reason, is not interested, like, do they just like, no? Hey, listen, I'm not here to sell anything. I want to give you something that's going to add value to you. Like for us, it's, hey, I'm going to give you a guide, and it's a step-by-step on how to overcome the 26 toughest objections in sales. People love the guide.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to you, and you can use it for you and your team, and you guys can use it as a training resource. And then it's like, if you like that, I wrote it down. It's like, man, this LinkedIn strategy, there's a reason for it. And which leads to the next thing. Out of all of the social media platforms that exist, what made LinkedIn the one that you wanted to focus on?
It honestly started because I could find people so much easier, right? Like I can type in, of course you need the premium version of LinkedIn to really
absolutely
effectively
worth
find people,
paying for.
I could say, like, right now I'm doing a local search, and so I did Greater Phoenix, small business owners, and I can narrow it down as much as I want. Industry, size of company, experience, title, keywords. I mean, you can literally dial it in. So that's why I started with LinkedIn and just kind of continued with it, because I can't go to Instagram and easily build a list of people. Right. I can't do that on Facebook. So LinkedIn was just the natural opportunity.
Well, and what's the cost for premium, right? I mean, if you paid the regular cost for premium, this is an expense that is absolutely worth it, because it's like going on a dating app. And I think the ladies will appreciate this. If you're on a free app you're going to see a lot of creeps out there. If you pay to be on the app, it
Yeah.
filters out a
Yeah.
lot of the creeps so that you're now, like, remember, sort before you sell. So
Yeah.
it helps eliminate, because you got to eliminate before you start to investigate.
Yeah, and it's so funny because most of our clients are coaches, and I would say a lot of them, I talked to a year ago, and a year passes, and we have another conversation or dialogue back and forth, and they're in the same spot that they were a year ago.
Yeah.
And so many of them
Yeah.
are afraid to invest into their business. It's like you're going to have some costs of doing business. One of them is
For
going to be
sure.
sales navigator. If you're going to hire someone and outsource this to someone that lives in the DMs, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have a CRM. It's like I have people come back to me like, yeah, I just, I want to work with you, but I'm not willing to invest in sales navigator or a CRM. I'm like, then you're not going to have
You're
any
not the right. Yeah.
success.
It's okay. Yeah.
And invest in yourself, invest in the business. I mean, if you want to get to a different spot than where you were a year ago, something's got to give. And
For
if
sure.
they're, oh, I need to get more clients before I can hire you, it's like, well, you need us to get more clients. So it's like the chicken and
Right.
the egg. Which one do you
Yeah.
need? It's like, I can't help you if you're not willing to invest a little bit into your business. And we don't charge that much. I mean, for what we do, it's like, it's so funny because I've gone back and forth, and I'd like your thoughts on offers and what people charge and stuff. But I would tell you that the times when I've charged less and had to offer more guarantees, they're a lot needier. They expect a
Yeah.
lot more.
Oh yeah.
When I
For sure.
charge more, it's like, just go do your thing. I trust
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Right. And it's like it's night and day. It's mind
There's something
boggling.
to be said about that. And you know what? It's funny. I mean, did you watch Alex Hermosi's latest launch of his
It was
last book?
long. No, I didn't watch it, but I saw some of the comments. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy's masterful. I mean,
Well, of course he is, right?
Yeah.
And so I pre-purchased some books. I purchased 15 books ahead of time to get the VIP package, and then it was the way that he worded it of the donation of 200 books, and like, I mean,
Right.
anyways, I mean, again, I don't agree with everything that Alex says. To his credit, this I agree with. The quality of your customer, right, will make a difference. When you have somebody who pays more, they tend to be like more hands off, like, and it's great. And again, those that pay attention. So if I ask somebody who's paying a lot to do something, they'll do it. Go back to your golfing reference, right? If somebody's, for them, $150 a lesson might not be much. If you spoke to somebody, it's $1,000 a lesson. They're going to make time during the week to get. I went and put in 20 minutes. I could only find 20 minutes as opposed to I'm scrolling. Like they'll make the time based on that, and I love it. So. Yeah, you're nailing it on the head. I got to go. I want to go back to a couple things here because again, you're doing a lot and we don't have a ton of time. Talk to me about AI and how that is changed the way that you do business. And are you using AI in your business for the way that you help clients communicate? Because conversations lead to conversions. How much of this is AI based with you and what you do?
Yeah, so our onboarding process is pretty thorough in terms of trying to figure out target audience and what your clients challenges are and pain points and what your solution is, what makes you different. But AI, if you start using it the right way, I don't think it's putting something into AI and then copy and paste it and just use that. I think you have to because you can tell when something's been written by AI with dashes and the way that
you can see
it talks, right?
Well, that was ChatGPT. Yeah, there you
So
go. That was
I like
Claude.
to I like to use it to give me ideas, right? Because it knows the way that I write at this point.
Oh, for sure.
So when I say, hey, I want to create this type of message, give me some ideas on the way I should focus it based on the tone and the style and the approach of the person. So it does a good job of kind of giving me a starting point sometimes if I'm stuck. And especially when it comes to like follow up, like we have, a follow up training call we do. And I say, for a client that doesn't know what to say when someone asks them a certain question, I say, put the entire conversation thread, put it in AI and say, how would you respond to this person? Give me 3 different responses that, could work, as a good follow up. Because some people just get stuck staring at a blank sheet of paper. And so we like to use it, but, it's not a foundational tool of like everything that we do. But there's definitely, the more you use it, the smarter it gets.
Yeah.
And so that's what I like about it is, if I'm like making a message for myself, I'll put some ideas in there and it will kind of, spit something back out to me like, okay, I like this part, I don't like this. And yeah, it's incredible what it does. But we use a lot for profiles too, right? It's like I just updated my profile this morning. I said, here's my current about section. I don't want this to be the direction I want to push people. I want to change it to this direction. Look at my website and create
Love it.
something new for me. And it
Yeah.
was 10 seconds, it was done. And, I didn't have to change much in it.
I love
Um,
it.
but it's funny. I want to, on the pricing thing, it's funny. I want to go back to this because
Do it.
we have a community school just like you do, right?
Yep.
And the way that we have it set up right now is, hey, it's free. You can come in, do it yourself, go through all the training modules, and you can put this all together yourself. However, 90% of the people that come in this free model don't do anything with it.
Right.
Like,
Same here.
and I have a
Same
percentage
here.
that come back there. Like, they actually start, watching some of the stuff, and then they'll come back to me and say, I don't have time to put this together, and can you just do it for
Right.
me?
Yeah.
So we're going to change up our school approach. Right now, it's, if you complete the program in 7 days, then you get access to all the other training, like your training in there and some of our premium stuff. But I'm going to change it and make it, you have 30 days in the community. If after 30 days you haven't either started the process or hired our VA team to actually do this for you, which we just give them to you at cost, we're not charging high fees. We just say, hey, just start using them. Then we're going to let you go out of the community because there's no sense of having a community full of people that's not active.
Yeah.
So I think there's some, trying to figure out that balance of I don't want to boot people out, if they're actually going through stuff, but also, hey, if you can't put this together in 30 days, come back when you're ready to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's not going to do anything for you. It's just another thing that's, on your bookmarks that you hope to get to someday.
Yeah.
So
We've been
yeah,
debating, I started this. We don't have a massive community on school. The thing is that you don't need a mass. Like I get caught up in the vanity metrics. It's like, yeah, do I want to have 1 million followers? Sure, for my ego. I would rather have 500 followers that are engaged and that are
yeah,
paying than
yeah,
1 million followers that scroll past and they don't care.
yeah, yeah,
So, in
100%.
fact, I'd rather have 100 followers that are high ticket followers. I'd
Yeah,
much rather have that.
yeah,
So the under the same context, what we're looking at in school is because it's been free, and we're now going to start charging. It's a
yeah,
small amount. So yeah,
yeah,
we'll have fewer people engaged in the community. The people that are there is what matters. I mean, I want to create a
yeah,
tribe of people that are going to be helpful to each other and that are
yeah,
going to, also contribute.
yeah,
And as opposed to people that are just there and like they're not my ideal client.
yeah,
Forget
yeah.
it.
I watched a couple guys in school before we created our community, and one guy had a 5 day challenge, and if you didn't complete the 5 day challenge, and he would
You
boot
weren't
you out of the
in.
group.
Yep.
Yeah, just
Great
no,
idea.
and there's now I thought that was a little harsh, so we modified ours a little bit. One other
Sure.
guy had he had a free community, then he had a separate community that was paid, and I'm like, I don't want to have two communities, I want to have one.
Yeah.
So ours is going to be kind of a hybrid model of those two, where hey, you got 30 days. If you don't, if you're not active after 30 days, sorry, we're going to remove you from the group because
Yeah.
what's the point of having you in here if you're not going to do anything? So I think there's that balance between I don't want to be too harsh and be like, sorry, you're out. Because timing's everything, right? Life
Sure it
happens.
is.
There's things that happen.
Yep.
So I try to be a little lenient there, but at the end of the day, if you reach out and you say, hey, yeah, tell me more. I want to join the school group first. Awesome. Here it is. You got 30 days to go through it. If after 30 days you haven't done anything, then, we're going to part ways, but you can always come back.
Yeah. And so whatever, by the end of this show, or look at the show notes, you'll have access to Adam's school group. There'll be a link to that, how to get in contact with Adam and find out a little bit more about ninja prospecting and what he does specifically on LinkedIn. All of those details to be able to get in touch with Adam will be there. I got two more questions. Number one, talk to me about your experience with Tom Hopkins and the purpose of the Phoenix Rising, that you have that in your place of work. I mean, that's obviously important.
I think it looks cool for one.
It does. Well, sure it is. Yeah, it's a great story.
And I live in Phoenix, so it kind of
Yeah.
kills two birds with one stone. But
Okay.
yeah, I started working with Tom. Gosh, I think it was 2005,
Yeah.
and so I was his road manager, right? So my brother and I would travel, and we kind of did it together, and we'd set up the seminar room, and make sure Tom's got all his stuff, and set up the books and the tapes and all the stuff in the back, and just kind of make
Yeah.
sure it was a smooth experience. And it was interesting because that got me into the whole personal development, self-improvement space, right? So I got
Sure.
to hang out with, Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn and, Brian Tracy and Bob Proctor and all the greats, Wayne
So
Dyer. And so it
awesome,
was so
man.
cool. And so it kind of opened my eyes. It wasn't a job that I went to earn a good living because it didn't pay very much. But we took the job to learn. And then, I was in rooms
Adam,
full of 500 people every
you
single summer.
you poured into yourself. The best
Yeah.
investment that anybody could ever make is investing in yourself. I just recently saw this where it's like, hey, you can take profit dollars from your business and you can keep it for yourself. Just go out and spend it, or you can
Yeah.
take a percentage of your profit dollars. T. Harv Eker from Secrets of the Millionaire Mind used to say
Yeah.
10% needs to be into education. You put the jar system together. 10% needs to be play money. You got to go out and have fun.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
like you have necessities, long-term saving and spending, education, and it's not just thinking about college. It's like, hey, right now people need to be learning about AI. You
Yeah.
better be learning about this because it's going to make the most amount of millionaires in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
and it may make you irrelevant if you're not prepared.
Yeah.
So that's a great story, man. I mean, what a great opportunity for you to be able to surround yourself by these leaders. Yeah, you might not have been making a lot of money in the moment. The investment, it's
Yeah.
still paying you today.
Well,
It's
I kind of
ridiculous.
had a personal rule that, if I saw a book or a course or a seminar that I thought could help me improve, I always said yes. That was
Nice.
it. That was my rule. And I accumulated a couple thousand books. Like I've read,
Right.
I mean, one year, I don't know if you remember this, but it was back when we were doing send out cards. I did this little side project where I was going to read one personal development book a day and then
Wow.
shoot a video review on it. So if you want to have a couple laughs, you can go to YouTube. They're still up there. Never had any goal to figure out how do I monetize this, and I think I burned out at about 270 books that
That's
year, which
that's a
was pretty
huge
good.
undertaking. That's
But it
huge.
was, yeah, it was my girlfriend had just broken up with me, and I'm like, I'm just gonna pour myself into work and working on myself, and
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I'm a big reader, and but I
Good for
think
you.
invest in yourself. I mean, that's invest in your business. I mean, I see so many people struggle, and it's because they're trying to do it all themselves. They're trying to figure it all out. Find someone
Mm,
that's good at what you want to be good at, and that can help you in certain areas that are not your expertise.
yeah.
Like there are some coaches that I talk to, they could be the best coaches in the world, but if they don't know how to market themselves,
It's
people aren't
not
just going
worth.
to be
Yeah.
knocking down your door, right?
100%.
So find someone that's stay in your lane of what you're really good at. Find other people that can help you with what you're not good at, and just
Hire.
build kind of your board of directors, your team
Yeah.
around you.
Buy back your time.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So it leads to
yeah.
this last question. What does Adam Packard like to do when he's not working? And there
Oh
might
my
be several
goodness.
things, right? So, like, I want to unpack that because, I mean, what's it all for? You don't work just, I mean, don't get me wrong. You obviously have, there's a lot of fuel in the fire for the love of the work that you do. And you're a
Yeah,
family man. You're
yeah,
living in Phoenix. You've got reasons. So when you're not working,
yeah.
what do you love to do? What can you share?
So like my stuff that I like to do just
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
and of course, family is everything,
There's
right?
no
So
wrong
I
answer.
I
Yeah, man.
I get to pick up, I work in the morning. I usually stop my day around 3, so I can pick up my little guy from school.
How old is he
Um,
now?
he's 10. So he's in
Sweet.
club soccer. So we're at practices 3 days a week, and we play outside.
Nice.
And Halloween's his favorite time of year, so we're
Oh
decked
my
out our
God. Yeah,
houses
we're
and saying
recording
right
this a
now.
week out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But so yeah, a lot of stuff, just family, traveling, road trips. Like last night, we went to a mini golf course and played. It was all decked out with Halloween theme, just as a family. That was a blast. Of course, I'm still a golfer. I don't golf as much as I want to. Just it's hard to
Sure.
be away for 4 or 5 hours. Pickleball is really my sport of choice right
How do
now.
you like this? I've never played. It looks like a blast.
It's so much fun. We have like 30, 40 guys. We have like a group app that we just schedule games and play
And
together.
just
And
go.
it's so much fun. Yeah, it's and you
Nice.
can play in a couple hours and you're done. And there's a facility right near where we live. So
Good for
those
you,
are kind of
man.
our personal things. And then yeah, but everything revolves around family for me. It's trying to create the life that we want and be able to do things. And making my own schedule is such a nice blessing to be able to not be stuck to that 9 to 5 and get up when I want to. But I get up early like you. I mean, I'm up at
Sure.
between 4 and 5 every morning because that's kind of my creative time, right? When no one's up, it's dark outside, and I go for a walk
Yep.
and come back and do some writing.
Love
And
it.
then at the end of the day, I block off time. So I try to disconnect as much as possible, but it's hard when you run your own business. You're wearing
You
a
got it,
thousand
man. You're
different
wearing a lot
hats.
of
But
hats.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But you and with what you said, you've got to disconnect. You've got to be able to get people on your team to help you leverage your time.
yeah.
So just so that you're aware, I'm actually going to be in Phoenix in
Oh, cool.
January.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make. I wrote a note. Hey man, you're in Phoenix. I got to come and see you. In fact, I'll see if I can connect. Craig Ballantyne is hosting his mastermind
Oh, okay.
in Phoenix. It's a great group of people, man. I've been in Craig's mastermind now for like I go to every event like 3 times a year. I've been in his mastermind for years, and
Yeah.
it's not like 1,000 people. It's very intimate. It rocks. So I'll send you
Okay.
some information. If anybody else is interested, if you want to get information on Craig's mastermind, it's shameless plug. Craig's a great coach and he's exceptionally connected, as you are, Adam. Uh, I'm I'm saying this on the air here, as it were. I'm taking you out for a bite, man. We gotta, I like you.
Let's
You
do it.
just
Yeah. I'd love to.
you pick, and then like I want to catch
Where are
up with you.
you? Where are you going to be staying? Do you know?
I have no idea yet. All I
Okay.
know is that I have to check the dates. It's going to be somewhere around January 7th ish. So
Okay.
right in the fresh in the new year. So hopefully you're around.
Yeah.
I'm going to be spending an extra, and Marcus, who's on my team, second in command, he's going to be coming with to the mastermind. We've got a couple of people that are dojo members in the Phoenix area and then in Tucson. So I want to go out and hang out, and then afterwards I'm actually going to Florida for a few days. So yeah, it definitely make a point. And I'd love to introduce you to some of the people in the mastermind, because they would be able to use you. Like that's the other
Yeah.
thing. There's
Yeah.
people in that group that they need your expertise on LinkedIn. So if people do want to get a hold of you and find out more about how you can help them not only grow their LinkedIn following, more importantly, monetize the opportunities that exist on LinkedIn, how do they get a hold of you,
Yeah.
Adam?
Easiest. I mean, you can find me on LinkedIn and connect and just say, hey, heard you on Joe's podcast. Website is pretty simple. All my contact info's on there, just ninjaprospecting.com. But yeah, I'm the opposite of high pressure, high stress, let's get you in now. It's more like, let's have a conversation first and just kind of see, can I help you or not? And if not,
You're
I'll
speaking our
share some
language.
ideas. Yeah.
Right on, brother. Well,
Yeah.
Adam, it's been a pleasure. Always good. Yeah, I could have kept talking for longer. I know you got other calls to take care of. So, hey, listen, on behalf of Adam Packard, this is Joe Marcoux. Thanks for listening and watching the Cup of Joe Marcoux podcast show. We'll see you next time. Take care.